Hey guys, welcome to this week's track guide at Interlagos in the Skip Barber series. Before we get into it, please remember to smash the like button if this video helps you out at all and subscribe to the channel. And I do stream 5 days a week over on Twitch if you'd like to see this track guide in action, hopefully without too much crashing. Okay guys, I'm just going to show the track info and the weather. Date and time is currently set to what the official sessions are going to be next week. And the track temperature is currently 44 degrees. Some people asked to see the setup. Last week's track guide, I forgot to put it in there, or didn't put it in there at all. So here's the setup this week. 54% brake bias. Some people use 53. I prefer 54 in most cases. SPO is 5 on both sides. There's no high curbs you've got to deal with this week, so there's no front wing damage. So +5 is perfectly fine on both sides. And anti-roll bar on 8. Some people prefer to use 7. I pretty much use 8 at every track. Fuel, obviously 11.8 litres for the race and 7.9 for qualifying. But that pretty much matches every Skippy race that we do. Here we are then, guys. On the start finish straight, the lap I'm going to show you is a 1:52.106. Okay, as we get going. Heading down towards turn 1, I'm moving the car over to the right hand side of the track and as close to this wall as I can. I'm looking at this 50 board and then past the 50 board and I'm looking at this Marshall booth here. I go to the cockpit view. As you can see, I start braking sort of halfway in between and also starting to turn the car in. What I tried to aim for is I tried to turn the car in and see this little patch of grass with this line where I guess these lines run out. Aiming for that and just clip it. Back to chase, so you can see just clipping over the top of it. As we start to turn in more for the corner, I come off the brakes a little bit. I'm down to about 25% here. And you want to use as much of this corner as you possibly can. As you probably noticed in this corner, I've gone a little bit too fast into it as I'm a little bit slidey coming out of it. You'll notice that on the hot lap after we've done this. But as soon as you hit this apex, you can see I'm even before I'm fully hit the apex, I'm already back to 100% throttle here. And I'm not letting go of that throttle until I get down to turn 4 at the end of this back straight. As we turn in, we're also going to turn 2. We're using as much of the curb as we can here as well. Don't worry about off tracks, you need to be over here somewhere to get an off track. So use as much of it as you can. Flat out here. Flat out all the way around this corner. You can use more curb than this, but the curb tends to get a little bit raised here. You can be over here, but the car can beach itself on top of this curb. So I find it easier and nicer just to stay on the inside. Okay, down this, what I assume is the back straight after only 3 corners. You can call it that. As we're heading down here, could be further over to the right here, but it's close enough. Look at this 100 board and this bit of concrete here in the grass. So as we go past it, as you can see, I'm on the brakes here as we hit this concrete. Hit the concrete on the brakes. It's quite a hard braking zone, isn't it? Up to about 75% braking here. As I let off the brakes, down to about 20%, that's where I start to turn in. I'm in 3rd gear here, not 2nd. It's a nice easy 3rd gear corner. You can use more curb than I have done here. But the most important is to get back on the power as early as possible. As you can see, as I just hit the apex here, I'm back to 100% throttle. You just got to be a little bit careful you don't run too wide out with the exit here. If the middle of the car this is the off track, so any further over than this, and it would have been an off track. So just be careful of that. Bring the car back over to the left hand side. Hit this curb just a little bit. I've seen people, they tend to run out wide here There's no need. Just keep it on the inside, otherwise if you run out wide you have to come back over anyway. Okay, this corner can be quite tricky. If I go to the cockpit view, I'm looking at these, what I guess are tyre marks here. I'm braking just before it. Hello, I am braking here. When the tyres get really warm, you don't really need the brake. I'm in 4th gear, and I turn in 4th. As I let off the throttle and hit this apex, that's when I go down the 3rd gear. Okay, so if I slow this down a bit and slow it down a bit more, you can see the brakes are applied. I come off the throttle. When I'm on this little bit of throttle here, I go down the 3rd. Quite a late downshift, much later than I would normally do. Normally, as soon as I hit here, I go down the gears that I need to be. But it's a really late downshift in the 3rd. Takes some getting used to, but it is possible. Okay, down in the 3rd gear, as you can see, I'm already backed up to 100% throttle. And we're keeping the inside line round here as tight as we can. I take quite a lot of curve there, and then let the car run and drift to the outside. Okay. You can go wider than this. I don't really see the need to. But I've seen people out here. There's not really a need to though. Okay. As you let the car run wide, as the car straightens back up, that's when you want to be on the brakes. So I'm in 3rd gear here from this corner. Now, I'm on the brakes and I'm going down the 2nd. So on the brakes, down the 2nd gear, turn in, and you really want to abuse this curb. This corner, I'm in 2nd gear. Some people take it in 1st. I advise you try and see what you like. It doesn't really matter. You either take this corner in 2nd, then drop the 1st, or you drop the 1st here, and then you 1st to this corner and the next corner as well. Okay. But as I said, you really want to abuse this curb. As much of it as you possibly can. Quickest line all the way through. Let the car run wide. I'm probably a little bit too wide coming out of this corner. And this is where I actually make my mistake. So, as I let off the throttle here and I'm down into 1st. 1st gear, all the way around. And as you can see, I'm off the corner here. And then, so it's just a little bit of the throttle to go down the 1st. And then I'm straight back on the power again, but I'm far too wide here. Far too wide. This is what costs me the 10th to get into the 151s. Visual the cockpit. You want to be tight all the way around the inside of this corner. All the way to about here, and then you come off, and as you can see, I'm far too wide. So don't do what I did with it. It will cost you time. Okay, into the next corner. As you can see, I'm not really tight to this. You don't really need to be. No, limp. Don't need to be. You need to be in the outside of this corner. At the very least, by the time you hit this shadow and this tree on the left-hand side, the car wants to be parallel to the track. Also, this tree is your brake marker. So I'm in 3rd gear here. Hitting the brakes. And you're going straight down into 1st gear. Again, using as much of the curb as you possibly can. Be a little bit careful though, as you can get a little bit beached on this curb. You get a little bit of wheel spin, which might cost you 1/2 tenth or so. But you want to carry as much speed as you can through this corner. From this angle, you really need to, what's the word? You really need to get on the power early to get the best out of this corner. When you're driving the track, you're not really sure how wide it is. But if I played at full speed from there, you'll see, and then you're back on the power early and then let the car run out wide here. And they're not really too wide, but you can let the car run wider than this onto this curb. If you get, when do I get back on the power? I'm back on the power here. It's probably a car's length too late. You probably want to turn in a little bit tighter and get on the power about here. That will then make the car run a little bit wider, and you probably gain half a tenth or so through there. Bring the car back to the middle of the track just to open this corner up a little bit. This corner is an easy flat out. Nobody should have problems with this corner. And as you come off, let the car run to the right hand side of the track. Now, probably one of the most important corners on the track. Is this the last corner? Or one but last corner? You need to get the car all the way out to this side, the right hand side of the track. As I am here. Don't worry about the white line, you won't get an off track. As I come out right to, I'm not even as wide as I want to be here really. You want to be another half a car over or so. Right, brake markers. What I'm looking at these little bits of grass here. And if you see this second one, this little bit of grass here, that's where I'm braking. Show you cockpit view. As you see, okay, this little bit of grass sticking out, that's when you want to brake there. Hitting the brakes, you're going down the second gear. I start to turn in. I like this end of the mesh bit, grass trappy bit here. I like to go over this, but as you can see, I started to turn in a little bit earlier. And then as we approach this this apex, you really want to take as much curve as you can. Maybe this is a little bit too much. You see, my front left wheel is just on this little bit of grass here. You really want to stay on the curb. This is about as much as you can take without losing any time. I think even though I think I did even lose half a tenth of time or so going across this curb. Let the car run wide. As you see, we're back to full throttle. Probably a little bit too late, but back to full throttle again. Let the car run out to the right hand side of the track, and then bring it back to the left. And keep it on the left all the way around. On the start finish straight now to finish the lap off. As I said, guys, that lap was a 1:52.106. There we have it then, guys. Leave a comment down below with the sort of lap times that you guys are doing. If this guide helped you out, let me know as well. I'm always glad to know that I've helped people out. Remember to hit the like, hit the subscribe as well, and I'll be back next week for week 3's track guide.